Sick and tired of your love-hate relationship with wine?
Welcome to the Feel It Alcohol-Free podcast. Hi, I'm Coach Ruby Williams.
And I'm Coach Susan Larkin.
We're two former wine lovers turned alcohol freedom coaches, exposing the lies about alcohol.
And giving you, our listeners, the tools to break free so you can feel lit.
And when you're lit, you'll feel healthier, freer, and more in control of your life.
So relax, kick back, and get ready to feel lit alcohol-free. Grab our fun bingo card with 21 Feel Lit activities shared on the podcast.
This is a fun way to get motivated to try some new practices in your daily life. Hello, welcome back to the Feel It Alcohol-Free podcast. You know, we are here, Susan and I, we have so much fun. We are loving the podcast. People are telling us that they've been getting alcohol free, listening to our podcast. It's so exciting. And we hear this from our clients kind of a lot, and we've heard this and we've experienced it. So here's the question that we wanted to pose for today. So I know I should probably cut back on my wine, but alcohol makes me happy when I'm in a bad mood. So if I stop drinking, I worry that I'll never be happy again. So we're going to dive into the happiness in alcohol and the emotions. So Susan, will you kick it off?
Okay, well, definitely this was something that was part of my story, because if I was in a bad mood, I definitely used alcohol to feel happier, I thought, right? To kick myself out of the bad mood. And so, yeah, I thought, am I just going to be in a bad mood all the time? Well, and I hear that also from friends and stuff, even when I tell them that, I stopped drinking, they're like, I know I should probably cut back, or, I know it's not healthy, but it's so fun. And I'm like, okay. And that's a real tough belief, I think, to crack if we believe it's fun. I think as Americans, this pursuit of happiness, it feels like it's in our DNA, right? To pursue happiness. And if we believe alcohol's making us happy, then it can be a hard thing to wrestle with as you're making, some choices around your drinking or even taking a break, right? You feel better. I knew that time and time again. Mm-hmm. I knew I felt better. But just in the back of my mind, it was like, but if I go on vacation or I go out to a special dinner or Friday night when I come home from work and I'm in a bad mood, what am I going to do? How am I going to deal with how I feel, right? Mm-hmm. And so really, but what I realized once I got alcohol out of my system, is that, we're outsourcing our fun to a false chemically induced quote unquote fun, that buzz, that first feeling of euphoria, mm-hmm. which, we can't deny. People say that and it's like, okay, yeah, you get that euphoric feeling, but then what happens? And right. So once I learned the science behind that really helped me let go and change that belief. And once I changed that belief, it was easier for me to go, oh yeah, I can find other ways to raise my mood. In fact, once I got alcohol out of my system and kind of dropped that belief, or it started to fall away, I started realizing that I wasn't in a bad mood as much, number one. And number two, I found other ways to raise my emotional set point. And my emotional set point started to go up and up as I gained more and more months of alcohol freedom.
Right.
So
me too.
Yeah. How about you?
Well, I thought I'd just, my story of this, I totally believe alcohol made me happy. But when I think back, it was like a learned thing, and it was always a mesh with a happy thing. In the beginning, my late teens, my 20s, when I was starting to drink, I drank social occasions, and it was fun. It was happy, right? We're going to a party, we're going to drink, we're going to a celebration, holiday, it actually was fun. But, so my brain, really, it solidified that alcohol and fun were tied. It was like a belief.
Yeah. Well, it's a conflation, right? We're taking the fun event and then we add alcohol and then we assume that the alcohol makes it fun when actually the event may just be fun on its own, right?
Right. And then you started working in the wine industry and that was fun. It was like a badge. When you work in the wine and alcohol industry, everybody talks about how much fun it is and that we work in this industry. How cool is that? And it really became a part of my identity too, that like it's fun. But the truth is, I'm like going to think of some of our like events that we had, like one in particular. I remember we all the staff, we got on a couple of buses and we went to a San Francisco Giants baseball game, and we were allowed to drink on the bus up there. Just like when you go wine tasting, you can drink in limos or you can drink in these like vans, but you drink so much more than you would, right? Because you're not driving and you're just, but we were all, I mean, it was kind of like not a good situation. People were getting way too drunk. The bus had to stop. People were throwing, like, was it fun?
So
I don't know.
Is that fun? Right.
Yeah. Like, and I think here's one thing I do want to say is I think we're allowed to change our definition of fun as we age. I think about my son, and he's in his 20s, or he was in his real early 20s. He was 21 when I got alcohol free. Isn't that funny? So we never really drank together, but I know it's not funny, but I say, so what do you think fun is? And he would say, driving fast, he's young, right? Like going, skiing and and doing all this like super like fast and furious kind of like behaviors. And I'm like, well, what is fun for me? As a mid 50-year-old woman, it used to be in my 20s. Yeah, I wanted to do all the exciting, fun things. But now it's like, it's really actually fun to sit in my garden or do something relaxing. So, happiness is actually made up of 10 different emotions. So, it's not just happy. Like I am happy. Barbara Fredrickson, she wrote a really dense book, but in essence, she's saying that to be happy, it relates to your own personal experience to 10 emotions. And these emotions that create a happiness in you is love, joy, gratitude, serenity, interest, hope, amusement, inspiration, and awe. So we'll talk about these again, and we'll probably have more episodes around all these different emotions. So the truth is that your brain wants to seek pleasure, avoid pain, make choices that are easy, right? That's where the habit comes, easiness.
Conserve energy.
Yeah. And then it wants to prove itself right. And that's where this belief comes in that like alcohol makes me happy. It's like it wants to prove it. Well, see, that first 20 minutes, I feel a buzz or euphoria. I started to not feel that at all, though, to be honest with you, when I got deeper and deeper into it. But the truth is, like, it gets locked in early. I think this like Hebs, like the neurons that fire together, or this neural pathway. It gets really locked in early. When like I said, in your late teens, early 20s, when you started drinking, and that it's fun. Yeah,
or even from what your examples in your childhood, like if your parents always drank at parties or special events or Christmas or whatever. And then they got a little, as kids, like when you see your parents get a little tipsy and they're kind of kooky and you think, oh, this, you start that belief system right then of, oh, this must be fun. It makes mom and dad kind of kooky, like kind of funny and wacky. And
every TV show, movie, since we've, I'm actually reading a book right now on Audible, and they mention alcohol and fun in almost every other chapter. I'm like, now that I'm so aware of it, she's like, oh, I'm out with my husband and we're having champagne and oh, we're going to go have fun. And I'm baffled and surprised at how entrenched it is in our whole like alcohol and fun and advertising.
Yeah.
Right.
And happiness. Yeah.
And happiness. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess the question is it true? Which we always say, first awareness, do you have this belief? And then is it true?
Is it true? That's
and then
the question.
Turning it on its head. And that's how we rewire our thoughts. And it's not like we're brainwashing, we're actually getting to the truth of something that maybe has just been conditioned culturally in society and in your own experience. You get that euphoric feeling. I remember working with a client and she'd been alcohol free for a year. And then she drank on her birthday a year later. And then she was really struggling to stop drinking again. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I don't know. I stopped for a year. Why can't I stop this time? And I said, well, what did you think when you had that drink on your birthday? And she said, oh, I thought, wow, I really do like this. This is fun.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is a hard thing so is it truly fun? And we had to work on that because that was what was keeping her stuck when she realized she really did want to quit drinking again, when she compared the two, of the year of not drinking and then when she went back to drinking. And we've talked about the drinking train only goes one direction. So you get back on the drinking train, it goes further down the tracks.
Yep.
It escalates, you're drinking more. And then when you try to get off again, it can be harder. Because she reinforced that belief that it was fun. I really do like this. Your brain wants to prove itself right. So in the moment it said, oh, let's drink. It's my birthday. That will be fun. You drink and it goes, oh, it really is fun. But is it really fun? Like we don't need to believe everything we think. Our brain is a little tricky that way.
It is. And is it fun 3 hours later?
Right. I like to say 24-hour fun.
Right. Yeah. Is it fun when you wake up in the middle of the night beating yourself up? Is it fun the next morning when you wake up with a headache?
Are you happy?
Or are you actually happy?
Yeah.
Most everyone says, I think about my clients and it's so when we kind of monitor data points, it's like literally you guys, it's clockwork. They maybe have 30 days alcohol free and they're feeling amazing. They're like, I feel amazing. And then they have a data point. This is where we learn a data point is like drinking. Okay. So they drank. And then they're like, the next day, literally, they're in tears. And it takes 3 days of like feeling this depression or sadness. They're not happy for like 3 days. And then they do it again. But eventually you start to go, wow, I really feel so much better alcohol free and happier
overall.
Right. Overall. So we talk a lot about like this instant gratification, like you're saying, think of 24 hours rather than just the next 20 minutes or the next hour or just this tonight, the Ruby tonight is going to be happy. Well, no, the Ruby tomorrow is going to be sad and not feeling well.
Yeah. And so that's where, for me, what really helped was learning the science. Again, coming back to a little bit of sprinkle of science here is what is happening when you drink actually. So we look at, what is your personal experience in the overall 24-hour period, but then people go, but that euphoria. It's like, okay, that buzz. Great. Yes. Alcohol gives you that buzz. We're not going to say that doesn't happen. It happens, right? You get that first euphoric feeling.
They say about 20 minutes.
20 minutes, right. So that's when your blood alcohol level's rising, but then your blood alcohol level falls because alcohol is both a stimulant and a depressant. And there's this downer chemical that comes in to help maintain homeostasis because we're getting, boom, this big dopamine hit. And then we get a big hit of what's called a chemical called dynorphin, which brings us down. But then it brings us really down. It brings us down for 3 hours. So we drink 20 minutes. 3 hours. Well, yes. So we drink again. We don't notice this cycle because especially at night, we just keep drinking. We have another drink in 20 minutes or half an hour or 45 minutes or however long.
And then you drink till you pass out. And your body And
or
is
not
it really
even,
fun?
People don't have to even drink that much. It could be 2 or 3 glasses, but then you go to bed. You don't feel it until you wake up the next morning. You wake up at 3 a.m. You have that kind of anxious, dry mouth feeling. Well, all that anxiousness you're feeling is a reaction to the dynorphin, which is, there's so much going on in your body when you drink. It's like crazy town. So you get the downer chemical, but then in order to maintain homeostasis from the downer chemical, your body releases cortisol and adrenaline, which creates anxiety, which is why you wake up with anxiety. The next morning. And so not only just the dehydration and just kind of feeling crummy, but you've got all these anxiety chemicals in your body. So then you start your day off feeling like that. And all you want is relief to scratch the itch of the withdrawal from the alcohol. And that's why we drink again the next day, or it's harder because you have the craving. It starts a craving response to drink again. And then your brain goes, oh yeah, but it made me happy, because our brain just wants that instant, our lower brain wants that instant gratification. We have to engage our prefrontal cortex to remember that
right behind
hours.
The third eye. We want the third eye. Well, the truth is, when you say, is it true? You asked that question, and I want to say
chemically.
Yeah. So you went into science, but then the truth is, in my experience, I was a weepy drinker. So you know how there's like mad drinkers, or I don't know, like people that change their personality. Well, I would end up crying. And I kid you not, Susan, I would be like probably telling myself, oh, I'll drink to be happy or relieve stress or whatever after work, say. And then the next thing I knew, I would go and pick the saddest movie I could come up with, like Terms of Endearment. I would do this all the time. And then I would cry and cry. Maybe I wanted to cry deep down. I don't know, but I think it was just the dynorphin, the brain chemicals making me very sad. I'd have a pile of like Kleenex from crying for the whole movie. And that's not how I wanted to live my life. That was not happy. Okay.
No.
The truth is, I was very sad. Very sad a lot of the evenings, but the brain believed it. So I want to like talk about this pillar of our, Susan and I, we have for our methodology, and the way we coach is we've got self-compassion. We talk about it all the time. Curiosity, we talk about it all the time, and awareness. So this is the awareness where I want you to spend some time. If you're listening in, maybe you can journal about this, but reflect, how has alcohol expanded or diminished those 10 emotions that I brought up earlier on the call, because that's where you're going to like, does alcohol actually make you happy, or does it actually rob you of happiness and all of those other emotions that are there that make up someone being happy? Again, their love and joy and gratitude and hope and awe. Awe is seeing the sunset. When I was drinking, I think I already shared this before, but like when I was drinking, I don't even know, or I didn't see like, Todd, one of our guests, he says that being alcohol free, he saw sunsets and sunrises. And that's my experience too. All of a sudden, the awe, that makes me so happy, like, and joyful just to think about that.
And pride is one of them. And when I would wake up in the morning, I definitely didn't feel pride. I would beat myself up. I'd be so angry with myself. If you were, you were talking about being sad when you would drink, I would get angry. I'd be mean. Mean Susan would come out.
Ooh, well, we did the episode on anger.
So Mean Susan would come out, and I would just get, so that's not happy either, right? It also didn't contribute to gratitude. Like all of a sudden I was just probably the most ungrateful person. I would get angry. I definitely wasn't loving, especially towards my husband. And so here we are, a couple, we're sitting down, to have drinks, thinking it contributes to love, right? And a lot of times it would go south and contribute to arguments, me, just getting angry about stuff. The same old, and in relationships, the same old argument, is on repeat, and it would just come out,
Well, my sadness was related to poor me. I would, when I drank, it was just all those negative thoughts would come up, like, poor me, the victim, and I would blame and guilt. But all of these emotions, I'm looking at the list here, like, I think a really important one is hope. Like, when I'm drinking, I was in that cycle, that Groundhog's Day, like, it was that literally hopeless. I would be like, there's no way. How do I do this? I'm successful in other areas of my life, being a single mom and having a corporate job. But I couldn't get it. There was just, I felt so hopeless.
Yeah. And think about when you were a kid and how happy we were as kids. We didn't drink, right? I mean, if drinking really contributed to happiness, wouldn't we be just like giving alcohol to, kids? Like, here, this will make you happy. But no, we don't. Or if it really contributed to stress relief, wouldn't we be giving, when's the most stressful time, I think, in life is like high school, right? But no, you're not allowed to drink, So like sometimes just turning things on their head and like thinking about it in these kind of different ways, I think is a great way to just sort of look, like you said, do this exercise and like really ask, is it true? And like you said, is it 24 hours true is what I would say, you know, or what are other times in your life when you've really felt happiness that didn't include alcohol? You know, if it hasn't gotten to the point where you pretty much you add alcohol to everything, which is kind of common.
Interest is a fun one too, because people think like there's this common, you know, belief out there that, you know, like you're more creative when you drink, you know, like
inspiration,
book authors and people, you know, they drink to like get their inspiration, and you know, they're interesting, and but the truth is, like, you can look at it both ways. Like, I personally was bored. I mean, boredom and like interest are so interesting to me around alcohol, because you'd think it was relieving your boredom, but actually what did I end up doing? Sit there and watch TV on the couch, which is so boring.
Yeah.
And my life got smaller and smaller, less interests. The things you talk about childhood, Susan, like I used to love to do X, Y, and Z when I was a child before drinking. And then if you kind of look at your trajectory of your life, that train, it's like hobbies, fun thing just started to drop away. I didn't want to go and like learn how to, I don't know, learn a new instrument or learn a new hobby or go see people. I started to just drink alone, and my world got smaller and smaller. And all of these like emotions we talk about got less and less. There was less joy, less gratitude, less serenity. You know, serenity means calm in my brain. And I was like, you know, I'm doing my flapping my fingers. Like my brain was always like chronically stressed and like anxious. And I never had that kind of calm, probably ever. Maybe for 20 minutes after the first drink, I might have got a sense of calm,
but that's just,
it wasn't true.
Yeah.
In the 24 hour, I love this 24 hour. Let's all of us go in 24 hours. Does alcohol rob you of the good emotions, or does it add to your good emotions? So be honest. And be honest with yourself.
Well, and also think about it. Even if you drink for 3 hours in the evening or at a sporting event or at a whatever, that's still in a 24-hour period, 21 more hours. So you still do the trade-off. Is it worth 3 hours for 21 hours of misery, or even more, because usually you feel bad for a few days. As we get older, we just don't tolerate alcohol as well. Like, I've talked to so many clients and like, oh my gosh, if I drink, it's like a 3-day, even if it's, you know, 2 glasses, sometimes it's like a 3-day ordeal hangover of like trying to get this out of my system and feeling sadder and feeling more down and feeling more anxious. And so you really have to look at that trade-off, really, you know. When I thought about that, and I think of it being an unfair trade, that's really, it was helpful for me in my journey. You know, that was the part of the play it forward tactic where it's like, okay, your brain is going, yeah, drink, it'll be fun. You're like, well, will it really be fun? Let me play it forward to 3 a.m. Let me play it forward to tomorrow morning in the next 3 days. And if you can do that, if you can pause, breathe, think about it in that way, it helps you make a better choice. Or if you're, you know, really trying to embrace an alcohol-free lifestyle, it really helps you go, oh, wait a minute, that's not true. I don't have to believe everything my kooky brain is telling me, you know. And I wanted, well, go ahead. I heard you.
No, just that. No, I'm really relating to what you're saying. And I do want to go back to that we are allowed to change what we think brings us happiness, and our thoughts and our beliefs.
Yeah.
You know, I love the question, is it true? Like that question we use it as coaches all the time, because again, we've got our normal brains, and our normal brains are reacting to life since birth. And we're seeing our parents and our peers and in high school and college, we're making all of these beliefs. And then our brain, again, wants to avoid pain, to avoid those negative emotions. We want to feel pleasure, feel happiness. We want that. We all want that.
Our subconscious brain. That's
and
moving us towards those things. Yeah.
Right. And then we want it easy. And actually, this is a good thing. This is where the dopamine is our learning brain chemical. And it's actually, it's for our survival. We need to have easy ways to do things. But what was easy and what worked in our 20s, it can change. We can change and our brain can change. And it's so important to look and ask, is it really true? Does alcohol really make us happy? Is it true?
Yeah. That was my password, not anymore. So you can't go into my bank account, but my password was, is it true, for like a whole year?
Love that.
Because I was just always wanting to remind myself to ask, to be the boss of my brain and ask myself, is it true? Do I, am I just assuming that I believe this thought, or do I want to question it? And
question it.
Yeah. And it was really exciting to do that for that year. It's just sort of, and is it true about a lot of thoughts I had? Is it true about some thoughts I had about my husband or about my life and overall? And it really helped improve many areas of my life, is just going back and really thinking, wait, why do I have that thought on repeat? Is it really true?
Yeah.
But I wanted to share one thing that's making me really happy right now that I never would have probably done if I was drinking is, I think we've talked on here that I've started playing pickleball, and I put it on my habit tracker because I've wanted to be very consistent, because you can't get better if you don't play. But I didn't like playing because I wasn't good. So I just had to put it on there that I want to do it, 5 times a week, which is a lot, right?
That's a lot.
I know, but I get my butt out there, and sometimes I show up and it's only, I only have an hour before I have to go somewhere else, but I still get like 1 or 2 games in. And now what brings me happiness is I am playing so much better. And if I get like a killer shot and like some people want to play with me.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, it makes me feel so happy. I'm like, I'm getting better. And, I don't always have to win, although I could get a little bit competitive. But like when I know I was in the right place and I hit that shot and I got that shot, like that honestly makes me super happy.
Yay. That's awesome. Well, I have a gift for our listeners before we get to our Feel It section. And the gift is, just imagine your life as a beautiful blank canvas. Okay. And each day you have the opportunity to add the vibrant colors and textures, and you can transform it into a masterpiece each day. And in your alcohol-free journey, these colors and textures are the small moments of joy and glimmers of hope that sparkle throughout the day. And when you're drinking alcohol, it's really hard to actually see those, or they may be non-existent, to be honest with you. It's really hard though. So especially for people that because we have listeners here that are alcohol free or like on day, 14 or 30, and we love to cheer you on and we'd love to, but the question is, what little things that can you notice that bring you happiness, or that just make your heart sparkle? Because this is what life is. Life is happening today in the present. And it's about noticing these little glimmers of joy and happiness. And I love it, where your heart sparkles,
I love that.
Yeah. So anyway, I want to share that with our listeners because it's so true. We are building our life today, right now. So start noticing that sunset, that sunrise, the awe. Well, Susan, this is my favorite part. It really is one of the favorite parts, is because I learned from you. I'm like, ooh, what is she going to say today? I have no idea. So I'm so excited. Okay. So
Sometimes
Susan,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. So Susan, what do you do in your life right now that is making you feel lit inside when you're alcohol free? What do you do?
Well, the pickleball I already shared, but I think I've shared that on other podcasts, but it is really making me happy. But also the other thing on my habit tracker that I've been trying to do consistently is get into the sauna. So the gym that we joined has a sauna.
Cool.
And I just tend to be so like, get in there, do my workout and get home, shower, get on with my day. And so just adding the 20 minutes or, I worked up to that 10, 15, 20 minutes in the sauna. But I did notice But I also felt like I want to take advantage of the fact that they have the sauna. So I'm making, a commitment to trying it twice a week. I've gone once this week already. So it's Friday. I guess over the weekend I better go. But when I do it, I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. It's so relaxing. I do like a meditation when I'm in there.
Ooh.
You feel so good. I feel so good when I get out. It really helps, with my muscle soreness, but there's so many benefits to sauna. So, it can help you with your cardiovascular health. And, my dad, I do have history of heart attack in my family. My dad, so it can reduce high blood pressure, disease, stroke. It's so great for your skin. It definitely improved my mood. So I just go on base how I feel, right? And after I do it, I do feel more lit, honestly. My body's
amazing.
so warm that I can get into a cold shower and it feels really good.
Ooh.
So I do a little cold shower afterwards. And then I let it warm up. And yeah, it is something I was really surprised. I didn't realize that it would make me feel so good. And so
That's
it does make me
cool.
feel good. So I need to slow down and make sure I'm doing it twice a week, and then I'd like to increase from there. But yeah.
So do you think, since you just had all the benefits, because I don't have a sauna and I don't have access to a sauna right now, but I do hot Pilates or hot yoga almost every day right now. And I'm sweating and it's hot. So maybe I'm getting those benefits. I think I might be getting those benefits from a sauna doing hot yoga, because hot yoga is hot. I am sweating.
Well, it's the sweating that helps, the heat
Yeah.
and humidity. So yeah, I don't know because I'm not an expert, but I would say yes.
Maybe I'm getting some of the benefits is what I was going to say. But one of my clients, this is so funny you brought this up, Susan. She lives in your area, but anyway, she bought herself as a gift for being alcohol free, like for a long period of time, a sauna in her house. I didn't even know you could do this. You order a sauna, it comes. You can, I think,
set it up.
Set it up, so you can have a sauna in your house. Now, our culture, as far as I know, at least in where I'm from, saunas aren't a huge part of our cultures, but I lived in Sweden for a year. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, in the Scandinavian culture, there was saunas in the summer, in the winter. Picture this. This was so fun, you guys. You go and you do the sauna, and then you go outside and roll around in the snow. I did that.
Oh, we do that here. We have a lot of snow right now.
Really fun. It was like, it's like a fun thing that like teenagers would do for fun. You go in the sauna for, and you do the steam thing, and then you'd run out, you'd roll in the snow, you go back into the sauna. You do that a few times. It's so fun. Gosh. The other thing that's fun in the summer in Sweden, you have the sauna. And then my Swedish dad, because I was with a host family, he had this thing. He would have his head kind of over like his knees, and he'd say, he's like, because I said, how long do you stay in the sauna? And he said, when one drip of sweat drops from his nose.
Oh my gosh, how funny.
So we would just wait, and then when it dropped, and then you jump in the lake, and a Swedish lake is freezing. So you would do that. It's so fun. I don't know. I love saunas. And again, try it out, you guys. Try this out. Maybe
when we were in Europe, in Austria, all the hotels had saunas. It was like, it was with the gym, or even if they didn't have a gym, they still had a sauna. Like that was the thing. People do, take saunas much more in Europe. So yeah.
But I said to my client I'm like, that's what I want. I want to, one day, I'm renting at a rental, so it's hard to buy a sauna, but like I want to have a sauna, and then I have my cold plunge, and that just is so fun. So I love that. Thank you for bringing up sauna today. It sounds,
I love your story.
Yeah. Yay. All right. Well, this has been such a great episode around alcohol and happiness. So ask the question, is it true? Is it true that alcohol makes you happy? All right. Join our Feel It community. And we'd love to hear from you and ask questions. Okay.
Yay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to Feel It Alcohol-Free Podcast. Do you have a question you'd like us to answer on the show?
All you need to do is head over to Apple Podcasts and do two simple things. Leave a rating and review telling us what you think of the show, and in that review, ask us any questions you have about breaking free from wine or living an alcohol-free lifestyle.
That's it. Then tune in to hear your question answered live.
And remember, do something today that will help you feel lit.
Don't forget to get your free Feel Lit bingo card.
Link in the show notes.